welcome everyone. We are thrilled to have such a huge audience here and ask in advance for you to bear with us in case this gathering requires more of our technical expertise than we have. Thank you for joining this special celebration of our Philanos Awards and awardees. We give awards to celebrate the impact of our philanthropy and the women in our network whom we know and respect and who inspire us. We also grant awards because they elevate the voices, stories, and critical work being done in the field by these women and their affiliates on behalf of all of us and in support of the growing collective giving movement. Today, we will present our Spotlight Awards, which are given to Philanos affiliates whose grant transformed a grantee, its community, and/or the affiliate itself. Additionally, we're very excited to have the inaugural presentation of the Colleen S. Willoughby Award, affectionately known as the Willoughby. This award recognizes a singular woman in the Philanos network whose work with a collective giving group empowered her to become a visionary leader among women in philanthropy, challenging the status quo regarding who can be a philanthropist. This is exactly what Colleen did, beginning when she founded the Washington Women's Foundation in 1995. No one is better able to discuss what these years of collective giving have meant and accomplished than our guest speaker, Sara Lomelin. She is a longtime member of a giving group. She created the Latino Giving Circle Network, the largest of its kind in the United States, and she now serves as the executive director of Philanthropy Together. Philanthropy Together is a global initiative co-created by hundreds of giving circles and collective giving networks, including Philanos. Its mission is to help start new giving circles and help existing giving circles thrive, all while democratizing and diversifying philanthropy. I am proud to call Sara my dear friend and colleague, and so honored that she's taking time out from her team retreat in California to be with us today and further inspire our work. It's a joy to introduce Sara.
Thank you, Susan, for that lovely introduction. Hello, everyone. As Susan mentioned, this is a very special day for me because we started Philanthropy Together a year and a half ago almost. And this is the very first time that our team of 7 is together in the same place. So finally, COVID, the wildfires let us be together, and we have spent the last 3 days in community, laughing, sharing a meal, hugging each other, and it's extremely special for me and for all of our team. It's a pleasure to be here today to celebrate the power of women coming together to make change happen. We're all here gathered thanks to the vision and foresight Colleen had to connect and empower women around passion, commitment, and community. And I'm very, very honored to be part of this movement with you. My name is Sara Lomelin. Again, I'm the proud executive director of Philanthropy Together. And as Susan said, a global initiative to diversify and democratize philanthropy by strengthening and scaling the Giving Circle movement. Much like Colleen, we envision a world full of passionate, empowered, diverse individuals, giving collectively and intentionally to create the world they want to see. We support giving circles of all shapes and sizes, focused on a wide range of issue areas with diverse and unique lived experiences. And as many of you know firsthand, women are the forefront of the collective giving movement. In fact, as you may know already, 70% of giving circles are led by women. At Philanthropy Together, with our flagship program, Launchpad for You, we have trained more than 300 community leaders to start their own giving circles, and 80% of those participants are women. This trend of women-powered philanthropy is incredible because giving circles tend to give to the communities in which they belong. And as some of you may know from the Women's Philanthropy Institute recent report, only 1.6% of traditional philanthropic dollars go to women and girls issues. And even a smaller percentage goes towards supporting women of color. So by being part of a giving circle, by being part of Philanos, you are helping to close this funding gap and pave the way for diverse, equitable, and inclusive grant making all over the world. I want to take a moment to acknowledge what you are doing, the love of humanity that you have, the philanthropies that each of you are, because we know that many of you already identify as a philanthropist, but there is still a lot of work to do in bringing others along with us as we reclaim that worth and go back to the original definition, love of humanity. You are leading the way in this work and helping to shatter those historic power dynamics that exist between those who give and those who receive. So I want you to be extremely, extremely proud to be part of this global giving circle movement and to continue leaning in, taking action, listening to those with boots on the ground and filling in the gaps that big philanthropy continues to overlook. And the reality is that a lot of people still view women as recipients of philanthropic dollars and not as philanthropists. And this simply is not true, as all of you know. So we have the power to change the status quo by working together. I'm a Latina immigrant from Mexico City. My culture has instilled a strong sense of pride in community in me. And I have always felt that if I don't take action in supporting my community, I cannot ask others to do it. It is important to lead by example, as all of you are doing. I was really compelled to engage in this work after working in the nonprofit sector for years, witnessing how institutional philanthropy and high net worth donors often overlook the most persistent causes. There are huge gaps in funding, as I mentioned, for women, for people of color, for LGBTQ plus causes. But luckily, women are paving the way for a new kind of philanthropy, one where people of all walks of life are included in the conversation of not only who provides the funding, but what causes get funded. At least 60% of giving circles are identity-based. And the people joining these circles are increasingly diverse in terms of race, religion, socioeconomic status, far more so than any network of donors that are not engaged in giving circles. Moreover, because giving circle members are often enveloped in the communities you fund, we have unique insight into where the help is most needed. Communities know what communities need. My dear friends, Marsha Morgan from the Community Investment Network always says this. By bringing more diverse voices to the table to raise and direct funds, giving circles propel greater diversity in the causes that get funded, ultimately redefining the landscape of philanthropy as we know it. We have seen how giving circles, and in particular, women-led giving circles, are driving social movements like Black Lives Matter and the fight for environmental justice. The power of these movements rests in the same element that makes giving circles so impactful: the communal responsibility shared among members looking to make the world a better place. Giving circles have so much that we can learn from social justice movements as we continue to support causes at grassroots, national and international levels. I've also been extremely inspired by the new generation of givers. I look at my kids, I have 3 young adults, their friends, youth all around the world, and see how mindful, how caring, how engaged they are with their communities from a young age. That gives me hope. And the best part is giving circles are changing the status quo by proving that you don't have to be a billionaire to make an impact. Colleen Willoughby challenged the status quo of traditional philanthropy 25 years ago when she founded what is now Philanos. It was deeply troubling that women did not have an organized vehicle for using their own money. And they control plenty of it, as you all know, to invest in their communities in ways that reflected the issues they care about. And now Philanos is continuing to change the narrative by mobilizing individual donors to make a big impact. Networks like Philanos are not just giving and making high impact grants, like the 3 award winners, represent, embody every day. You really embody the best of the collective giving movement by displaying how giving circles build communities that transcend borders and provide women with the skills and resources to become leaders in your communities. Not only are giving circles helping shape and create connected communities, they are creating space for Black, Brown, Indigenous, immigrant, and queer women to lead the grant-making process despite being traditionally excluded from decision-making. As a result, this is building a new generation of leaders, a generation that is more compassionate and reflective of the communities we serve. Giving circles are social by nature, as you know. Women are natural connectors. We want to give together, right? I know you wouldn't be here today without the support. I wouldn't be here today without the support that I have received from all of the strong women I've gotten to know and learn on my journey, my philanthropic journey. Within Philanos, I adore Diane Chips Bailey. She was one of the architects of what Philanthropy Together is today. We didn't even have a formal name. Working side by side with Paula Liang during the co-design process, seeing your engaged faces sign up early and show up often to our programs. Susan, Virginia, Maggie, Buffy, Mary, Sandra, Sue, many, many, many more. Laura, I mean, too many to count. I am grateful for all of you, for keep being our partners, for keep being the trailblazers in this field. You're really, really paving the way for future giving circles to truly understand what it means to serve a community with thought, intention, and most importantly, trust. And you show up and you keep showing up. And this movement to transform philanthropy needs you and will continue to need you. Giving circles are bringing together women from all walks of life, not only to give, but to really learn and grow with each other in a diverse and inclusive environment. And we're in full support of Philanos' commitment to becoming an anti-racist organization. I want you to know that Philanthropy Together is here, not only for Philanos at the network or Giving Circle leader level, but for each and every member participating in this work, which is why I'm so proud and I want to invite all of you to be part of our field-wide community. 1 week from today, next Thursday, October 21st, Philanthropy Together is relaunching a racial equity community of practice that I know that a lot of you participated last year. This will be an ongoing series offering Giving Circle members trainings and resources to deepen your commitment to building a philanthropic sector centered on racial equity. We're hosting monthly live sessions and have our community forum where you can take this journey alongside other Giving Circle members as you embed racial equity into your Giving Circle's practices in order to advance equity and social justice. We'll also invite you to join the Global Giving Circle directory. Check if your Giving Circle is there. If you need to update your information, just send me an email and we'll make it happen. This is a great way to ensure others find and connect with your Giving Circle. And sharing this space, just to finish, sharing this space with you all today has been extremely delightful. I'm looking forward to hear the rest of the program. Women like you are undoubtedly changing the face of philanthropy, and I'm honored to be included in this celebration of female leadership and collective giving. The passion and commitment I have witnessed from Philanos assures me that the future of philanthropy is bright. And as we all say, right, the future is female. So thank you so much for having me. And now I would like to give Ellen Bernstein the floor, as we're all excited to hear about these wonderful awards given by Philanos. Thank you.
Thank you, Sara. Your remarks were just so inspirational. And on a very personal note, I am so glad to be part of Philanos and the National Collective Giving movement. It is just amazing. So I'm Ellen Bernstein. I'm a member of Impact 100 Philadelphia, and I serve on the Philanos board as well. As you know, as Sarah mentioned, Philanos gives a national voice to the high impact collective giving movement. To put that into perspective, the reach of the collective giving movement, Philanos affiliates, all of you collectively gave about $15 million in transformational grants last year. Philanos is here to accelerate the power of our network affiliate organizations that practice high impact transformational grant making. Normally, we make these spotlight award presentations at our conferences, but since we are not living in normal times, we are obviously gathered here virtually. We are so glad that so many of you have joined in from all around the country. The Spotlight Awards is our opportunity to highlight how Philanos affiliates are strengthening the collective giving movement through our grant making. The awards celebrate women-powered philanthropic efforts by highlighting grants that demonstrate the multiplier effect of high impact investing in community nonprofits. These awards recognize grants that have had one or more of these effects: either transform the grantee, transform the affiliate itself, and or transformed the community. Today, we admire and celebrate these impactful grants that represent a slice of the grant making being done throughout the country by Philanos affiliates. Each awardee or affiliate will receive $500 to be used to support the affiliate or to pass it along to the grantee. Additionally, the affiliates honored will receive national exposure on all Philanos communication platforms. Today, we will be recognizing 3 affiliates. But before we do that, I would like to thank the Spotlight Committee for their work and collaboration in determining these honorees. By design, the committee is composed of 2 Philanos board members and a representative from 4 affiliates. It was my pleasure to work with Philanos board member Deborah Majewski from Women's Impact Fund in Charlotte, North Carolina, Rachel DeGrego from Project W in Springfield, PA, Christine DeCesar from Impact 100, Garden State, New Jersey, Dale Clifford from Women's Collective Alliance in Florida, and Sandy McCullough from the Wood River Women's Foundation in Idaho. Our committee had the pleasure of reviewing many submissions, but also the challenging task of determining which ones would receive an award. For the selections, the committee used an equity and inclusion lens, considered grants made in response to COVID-19, as well as grants that transformed the grant-making organization, the nonprofit, and or their community. I am very excited to announce our awardees. Our first Spotlight Award goes to Impact 100 Metro Denver for their grant to Fresh Food Connect. In 2016, a group of forward thinkers from 3 Denver organizations came together to present a new idea that would become Fresh Food Connect. The concept presented initially was a pilot project to facilitate donation of homegrown food from backyard and community gardens to local hunger relief organizations. Using the funds from Impact 100 Metro Denver, Fresh Food Collect began in 1 zip code in Denver. Now the organization is working coast to coast in over 1,500 zip codes with 50 operating local partners. This tremendous growth resulted with the transition from a web-based program to a mobile app technology. The mobile app technology allows Fresh Food Connect to function as the connector between the gardeners and local hunger relief organizations. The focus for Fresh Food Connect is to provide access to more healthy foods, reduce food insecurity, and eliminate fresh food deserts by allowing excess foods from gardens to be shared through local food banks and other organizations focused on feeding the community. Anita Wilkinson will now accept this award on behalf of Impact 100 Metro Denver.
Hi, everybody. I hope you can hear me. I'm so excited to be part of this for Philanos. Metro Denver Impact 100 is just very, very excited about this grantee. Fresh Food Connect was our first grantee when Impact 100 Metro Denver was getting started. And so it's very exciting that we're now 6 years old, almost 7, getting into our 7th year. And we've been able to give out over $1 million in our first 6 years. But this awardee has continued to transform and to look for ways to expand and bring food into the communities that we all serve. So we have stayed connected to many of our grantees. That's one of our philosophies at Impact 100 Metro Denver. And I cannot tell you how excited we are to be the awardee for Philanos, and we look forward to continuing our efforts. I know Sandy Cook, who's on the board at Philanos, would probably be having ear-to-ear smiles right now, accepting this award for all of us. So we thank you very, very much. And I know Fresh Food Connect thanks you for recognizing their efforts, that they continue to grow and expand. Appreciate it.
Congratulations, Anita. We too are thrilled that you were one of the awardees. Our second Spotlight Award recipient is Impact 100 Greater Indianapolis. Impact 100 Indianapolis selected Trinity Haven to receive their 2018 Changemaker grant. Trinity Haven's mission is to provide safe, affirming housing for LGBTQ youth experiencing housing instability. In April of 2021, during the pandemic, Trinity Haven celebrated the grand opening of a home for LGBTQ youth, funded in part by Impact 100 Indianapolis's grant. The grants was transformational for the Giving Circle and the community because it is Impact 100 Indianapolis' first grant focused on the needs of the LGBTQ community, and Trinity Haven is Indiana's first residential home program addressing the needs of these youth who are at risk for homelessness. Trinity Haven addresses these needs through 2 programs. First, the Transitional Living Program at the newly opened home, and second, the Host Homes Program, wherein volunteers host youth in their homes. The grant funded part of the reconstruction of the house that provides long-term housing for LGBTQ youth adults between the ages of 16 and 21. The funds also support the Host Homes Program, which provides short-term housing for young adults between the ages of 16 and 24. In addition to directly funding this program, the members of Impact 100 Indianapolis learned about the unique and daunting challenges facing this underserved community. Terry Mumford will now accept this award on behalf of Impact 100 Greater Indianapolis.
Thank you very, very much. We appreciate so much Philanos shining its spotlight on our grant to Trinity Haven. As you've indicated, even though Impact 100 has funded many innovative and impactful programs for people who are homeless and for young people over our 16-year history, This was our first grant targeted specifically at the LGBTQ community, that is youth facing homelessness. The data that we were presented made the case for the grant and also educated our members about the needs for this program. From the time of the award, which was in 2018, until the opening this year, we monitored Trinity Haven's progress in securing the appropriate approvals from state and local leaders. This process opened our eyes to the difficulties faced in creating the first residential program in our state for this community. The lessons that we learned in observing what Trinity Haven did have informed and will continue to inform our diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts as we go forward in expanding our membership, our leadership, and our grants process. We hope that the recognition that Philanos is giving us with this grant contributes to a greater awareness of the problems facing LGBTQ youth who are at risk of homelessness, so that other communities will replicate the Trinity Haven programs. Thank you again.
Congratulations, Terry, and your organization. Our final Spotlight Award recipient is Impact 100 Richmond. Their innovative Neighborhood Catalyst Grant was awarded in 2018. This grant provides $25,000 for 4 years in one geographic region in order to make real change in a single neighborhood. Impact 100 Richmond provides the dollars, but a neighborhood advisory committee composed of women who live in the community determine how the grant funds are allocated. By transferring decision-making power to the neighborhood, Impact 100 Richmond is assured of an inclusive and authentic partnership. Impact 100 Richmond has made a commitment to trust-based philanthropy by trusting the women to know what their neighborhood needs. The neighborhood that was selected for the grant is called Greater Fulton. This area of Richmond was ravaged in the 1970s due to urban renewal programs. Many buildings were destroyed and many residents were displaced. The Neighborhood Advisory Committee is making funding decisions that target projects focused on honoring the past as well as investing in the future. For example, grants were awarded to a community park that tells the story of historic Fulton and honors the lives and families who were forced from their homes. Empowering the community to come together on their own terms began the process of healing old wounds in the neighborhood. The Neighborhood Advisory Committee was also able to quickly respond to community needs during the COVID-19 crisis by directing significant funds for COVID relief. As Impact 100 describes this Neighborhood Catalyst Grant, quote, at its core, it is based on the principles of trust, love, and self-determination. Elaine McCormick will now accept the award on behalf of Impact 100 Richmond.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. It's such an honor to be included and recognized among this esteemed group of women. This idea really sprung from our strategic planning committee that met 6 years ago and really wanted to look ahead on how we can expand our giving. And from it came the Catalyst Grant. So Tally Baratka and Carol Ann LaJoy have spearheaded this effort, and they've worked together with some members in our Catalyst Grant Committee, along with the women of the Fulton neighborhood, and put in all the sweat equity. So they really deserve all this credit. Just thank you again for the honor and recognition, and we look forward to see what our next neighborhood is going to be in the future. Thanks.
Thank you, Elaine, and congratulations to all of our Spotlight awardees. And a special thank you to all of you, the other affiliates who submitted a nomination for the Spotlight Award. We are proud of the work of all of our affiliates and the work that they do to support their local communities. We encourage all of our affiliates to nominate one of your grantees for the next round of Spotlight Awards. Those awards will be given at the Philanos Conference to be held in the fall of 2022 in Orlando, Florida. And we really look forward to being in person and talking to each other and putting all this virtual technology behind us. Although what would we have done without it? So see you in Orlando to celebrate next year's Spotlight Awards that will represent the impact of our affiliates and our grantees. Now, we're not yet finished with this award ceremony. Many of you were with us in Seattle almost 2 years ago when Laura Midgley introduced the Willoughby Award during our Power Up conference. Laura, take it away for the Willoughby Award.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Ellen. And congratulations to all the Spotlight awardees. I loved hearing about all these transformational nonprofits across the country made possible by our affiliates' collective giving grants. They're really inspirational to me and work that we should definitely consider in other places around the country. And I really love the theme about a local emphasis and trust in local community knowledge, as well as building bridges with new communities. So thank you so much. And now for the Willoughby Award. My name is Laura Midgley, and I am a Philanos board member with Ellen and a member of 2 affiliates, the Washington Women's Foundation in Seattle and the Wood River Women's Foundation in Ketchum, Idaho. I've had the pleasure of chairing this committee for the inaugural Willoughby Award. Thank you first to our committee members, Holly Lee from the Asian Women's Giving Circle in Brooklyn, Miriam Sopin-Vilmi from the Philanthropy Connection in Boston, and fellow Philanos board member Deepika Andavaropu from Impact 100 in Cincinnati. We all worked together, enjoyed so much getting this opportunity to know our nominees, and we thank all the nominators for providing us a wonderfully inspirational group of women to get to know. So I'd like to give everybody a background on this prestigious award, which was announced at the last conference in February 2020, just 1 week before our world changed in Seattle, where we honored Philanos founder Colleen Willoughby and her role as a champion for challenging the status quo in philanthropy. Today, we recognize a woman who, like Colleen, has challenged women in her community to embrace being a philanthropist by giving more and therefore being more. This award focuses on the leadership aspect of collective giving. And at Philanos, we just want to share our excitement by celebrating the Changemaker. Colleen empowered women through developing the collective giving model, which asks women to reimagine philanthropy as an investment of not only money, but also of self. Today, we celebrate the strength of our collective grant-making model, knowing that nothing is as powerful as bringing smart, motivated women together to tackle the most complex issues of our time in our communities. At the same time, we give every member the inspiration and freedom to grow and become philanthropic in her own terms. Colleen challenged the status quo of traditional philanthropy 26 years ago when she found it troubling that women did not have an organized vehicle for using their own money, and they controlled plenty of it. They needed to invest substantially in their communities in ways that reflected the issues they cared about, and in ways that also reflected their collaborative style of leadership. Colleen's idea of collective giving grant making changed the face of philanthropy forever, not just in Seattle, where it began with her establishing the Washington Women's Foundation, but across the country and the world. She inspired and mentored groups in New York, Boise, Ketchum, San Diego, Roanoke, Jacksonville, St. Louis, Minneapolis, Austin, and Charlotte, as well as far away as Shanghai and Melbourne. In fact, many of these groups are here on this webinar today as Philanos affiliates. In 2009, she expanded the movement by establishing the Women's Collective Giving Grantmakers Network, formerly known as WCGN, and now Philanos, which was incorporated in 2013. So here is a clip of Colleen in her own words and voice that we showcased at the Seattle conference when we announced this award to honor her. We will then hear from Susan Benford, Philanos Chair, who will present the award. And also Colleen is here with us today on Zoom and will add her congratulations to our honoree. Thank you so much.
It's that day in high school when attending Girls Nation in Washington, D.C. And when I sat down in the Senate chair of Margaret Chase Smith, the first woman to become a United States Senator. I've had an abiding interest in public service and a profound respect for women's effective civic leadership. I've spent nearly a lifetime finding ways to develop mechanisms for others to meaningfully engage for the benefit of the common weal. Establishing the Washington Women's Foundation and nurturing the formation of other collective grant-making organizations in the United States and around the globe are chapters in this ongoing journey. We're all a part of an amazing collective philanthropy network. Over 70 affiliate groups, giving, learning, leading together. If we reflect on how we got here, the women's movement of the 1970s helped pave the way for us and for a new breed of energy and activism, women collective philanthropy. The women's movement highlighted issues of inequality and separateness, challenging us still today. I think of DEI in 2020. Back then, we aimed to address the challenges by first getting women a seat at the table as major donors. And in the past 50 years, women's access to wealth has grown dramatically thanks to increased education, independence, and employment opportunities. By 1990, women emerged into new forms of power and opportunity for generating, investing, and gifting wealth. 25 years ago, 5 women, Faye Sarkowski, Sue Lyle Hunter, Rhoda Alton, Ann Farrell, and I, founded the Washington Women's Foundation after decades of community service and volunteerism and leaders of nonprofit organizations. We knew, as you do too, the demands of community building are continuous and growing and expensive. We knew that time and talent will only go so far. We needed a way to get big money into the hands of innovative problem solvers to truly make a difference. We wanted to create a new kind of collective philanthropy that served to elevate women, to educate, to inspire, and to empower women to serve not just women and girls, but whole communities. After all, every issue is a women's issue. And so the Washington Women's Foundation was established. And so too grew a network of energized women to build new pools of major money to provide education and hands-on experience in grant-making, efforts in philanthropy, build bonds among donors who are inclusive of ideas and backgrounds to make significant and lasting differences in our communities. Today, women are more confident than ever with enormous potential and capacity for collective contribution. New challenges face us every day, and we must not be deterred. Our society demands that each one of us do our part. We must continue to lead and to act in bold ways. Democracy depends on all of us to contribute to the greater good. Together, we can and we must address the pressing issues of our time. As Melinda Gates has reminded us, our greatest challenge is to reduce the inequities that divide our world. Be confident, think smart, act big.
How wonderful to hear Colleen's wisdom there. What a mantra, think smart and act big. As Laura said, we're going to acknowledge our first Willoughby Award winner today for a woman who has taken philanthropy and leadership in new directions and challenged the status quo. This has inspired more women to find and amplify their voices today, tomorrow, and for the foreseeable future. It is Philanos's vision that Colleen's leadership will continue to inspire women to take the lead in envisioning and implementing groundbreaking methods of philanthropy. The award today will be given to one woman in the Philanos network whose experience and affiliation with her collective giving organization have inspired her to take her philanthropic efforts outside that organization to directly change her community. She will also be recognized for taking women's leadership in new directions, just as Colleen did in 1995. Physically, this award is an engraved vase given to the awardee with a $1,000 stipend from Philanos to be directed to the nonprofit of her choice. Both Colleen Willoughby, current Philanos board member, and Dale Clifford of Women's Giving Alliance of Jacksonville and former Philanos board member have contributed to the sustainability of this award. Dale's contribution honors her late mother, Laura Egerton Lothrop. We had 5 remarkable candidates for the Willoughby. We would like to first thank and recognize each of them for their dedication to collective giving, which is exhibited in so many ways. Donna Cobb from Baltimore's Women Giving Circle. Ginny Jarrett from the Roanoke Women's Fund. Deborah McManus from Well Met Philanthropy. Nina Slide from Spirit of St. Louis Women's Fund. And Kyle Ruffin from Impact 100 South Jersey. The Willoughby is not a Lifetime Achievement Award. Instead, it recognizes accomplishments that are a springboard to a lifetime of work. Like Colleen, we want our awardees to speak up and work to modernize, if not revolutionize, traditional philanthropy so that it includes more voices and experiences. The awards committee interpreted challenging the status quo to be non-traditional approaches to philanthropy. Ladies and gentlemen, the award goes to Kyle Ruffin of Impact 100 South Jersey. Kyle is president of K. Ruffin and Associates, a marketing and communications business helping small businesses and nonprofits increase visibility through digital tools. Kyle started K. Ruffin Associates in 2010 after a career in marketing for media outlets like KYW News Radio, Philadelphia Business Journal, and Inside Radio, as well as nonprofits, including the United Way of Camden County and Healthy Mothers, Healthy Babies. Currently, Kyle is vice president of the board for the Community Foundation of South Jersey and a member of the board for the African American Heritage Museum of Southern New Jersey. Other boards she has served on include the Settlement Music School, where she was vice president, Camden Branch Advisory Board, where she was president, and the Hispanic Family Center of Southern New Jersey, where she also served as president. She currently sits on the Inclusion and Diversity Committee of Samaritan Healthcare. I feel like I should add she leaps tall buildings in her spare time. Kyle's philanthropic experience with so many nonprofits organizations left her feeling othered and tokenized as a Black woman in the white philanthropy world. Over time, however, she found her voice and became empowered to speak up. She recently initiated and led a program to showcase other women and people of color to tell their stories about why they are already giving. Using her background in storytelling, She helps people tell their own stories and others to recognize the vital role that people of color already play in philanthropy and volunteerism. Kyle championships partnership over integration when it comes to increasing the impact of giving back on a community. Kyle, congratulations. Would you like to say a few words? Well, we must be having a technological glitch. So I will move on. I'm so sorry we didn't get to hear from Kyle, but perhaps we can get her to write some comments for the next Philanos newsletter. So congratulations are certainly in order. Congratulations to Impact 100 Metro Denver, Impact 100 Greater Indianapolis, and Impact 100 Richmond in Richmond, Virginia for your Spotlight Awards and for making a grant with such a lasting legacy. And what an inspiration Kyle is, and what a deserving recipient of the Willoughby. It's an honor, Kyle, that your peers find you comparable to Colleen in your efforts to challenge who is and can be a philanthropist. And thank you for adding voices of greater diversity, equity, and inclusion to collective giving.
Yes, I'm going to jump in. Kyle is here. We have a technical fix. Yes, we have it fixed. This is Judy Greenberg, honored and thrilled to present Kyle with this most prestigious award. So if the camera wants to get flipped over to her, she is here. We are ready, and she's thrilled to say a few words.
Wonderful. Thank you, Kyle.
Great. Yes.
Well, I am absolutely floored, quite frankly, and I am thrilled that Judy is here with me. I'm just grateful for Philanos and the work that you do. It was so nice to see Ellen Bernstein because she was the person who sat at the table with us the first night that we in South Jersey decided to explore an Impact 100 model, and here we are today. This is pretty awesome. So I'd like to thank Philanos for awarding me this first ever Willoughby Award.
Here it is.
Which,
Here
yes,
it is,
which,
beautiful
oh my
days.
goodness, which if only I could fill this with wine, I would, it would be even more perfect, but it's beautiful. Thank you very much. It is an honor to be associated with a legendary change maker like Colleen Willoughby. She saw a void and she turned her vision of change into an impacting and lastful reality. I'd also like to thank the Willoughby Award sponsors for helping make this possible, and the members of Impact 100 South Jersey for nominating me for this prestigious honor. This award belongs to all of us because there is no Impact 100 South Jersey without each and every one of you. South Jersey is the home to so many amazing women, and it's been a thrill to be part of bringing together a compassionate community focused on addressing local needs. Community is such an important aspect of collective giving, right? I'm sure that comes as no surprise to anybody. It's not just about finding women who have the financial resources to participate. It's about identifying women whose hearts are aligned, who see making a difference as part of their legacy, regardless of the size of their bank account. At Community Foundation, we suspected this when we sought a way to create a local giving circle. I thank former fellow board member and founding Impact 100 board member, Teresa DeVitro, for inviting women who were well-known philanthropists to a casual chat about what mattered to them. From there, Community Foundation set out to learn more about what mattered to women whose pockets weren't as deep. And these women told us that they did not see themselves as philanthropists, even though they were giving back in so many different ways. Philanthropy is only for the very wealthy, they said. They wanted to leave a legacy of generosity. They just couldn't fathom how. And now we formed a community for those women to be proud of. Communities are like the family we choose rather than the family we're born into. Everyone here today has found their people. And that's the nature of collective giving, right? We are each part of a community in which we feel valued and that our personal contributions can be seen in the group's success. There's the obvious message here, right? Community is important, but there's also one that may not be so obvious. The word community is also critical when it comes to navigating diversity, equity, and inclusion. Collective giving in Brown and Black communities has a long and solid history. It may not look like what it looks like around the tables that many of the women on this call are part of, but it is a integrated part of those cultures, these cultures, I should say. Collective giving, I do want to shout out to the Black sororities, the social, cultural, and religious groups that have used collective giving to support their neighbors in needs for decades. I truly admire their hands-on, boots on the ground approach to community service, and hopefully there are some of them on the call today. I bring this up today because I hope to provide or reaffirm Sarah's message, which I just was like taken back by, message with a helpful tool in your DEI toolbox. And that is to look at partnerships with Black and Brown organizations that are part of a collective giving model. In my experience, recruiting from these communities to increase diversity at non-diverse tables has been the go-to approach. But I also urge you to think partnership, think collaboration, think matching grants to incentivize greater giving to these groups. Think allies in your trust-based philanthropy strategy. After all, they have lived experiences that can help you truly understand the issues facing struggling communities. So in closing, I'd like to once again thank Philanos and Colleen Willoughby, my sisters of Impact 100 South Jersey, and all the empowered women who belong to Philanos member organizations for the difference that you make in the world. May all our hearts remain aligned in ways that lift, inspire, and transform.
Yes.
Well said, Kyle. Thank you so much. And Judy, thank you for your surreptitious work getting Kyle there. Thank you for your words about redefining what it means to be a philanthropist, Kyle, and who philanthropists are, as well as the reminder that collective giving has been going on in Black and Brown communities for, you said decades, I would say centuries. It is not a new practice. So that said, thank you for being here. It's never too soon to start thinking about who you might nominate for next year's Spotlight Award and for the Willoughby. As Ellen mentioned, we're going to be meeting for our next conference in Orlando, and stay tuned to Philanos social media to find out exactly when and at what hotel.